This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Flagstaff MAC tent trailer. And the model is 206 LTD, and this is the version with the solar panel. Okay, so this is sort of a supplemental video. The manufacturer makes an excellent setup and takedown video. I'm just going to go into a little more depth with some of the components of the trailer. So this isn't a sales or a floor plan video, it's a basic how-to video. Okay? Alright. Starting in the back here. If you look underneath here, you can see that that's the travel door there. That's just stowed there because the screen door is in place up front here. Now, you can see there's a rail right here. On this rail you can hang your griddle on there, or in this case it's got a cooktop, your cooktop on there, and you plug it in right here. You can also pull that hose through to the inside, and let me go in and show you. And then pull it out this hole here, right? There we go. And you can use the cooktop inside too. Now when it's stowed, which it is now, you can see how it's on a rail that's just attached to one of the dinette benches, and that just keeps it secure so it doesn't slide around. So when you stow it, that's where you want to put it, right there. Okay. So let's go back outside. Okay, so little things to remember. This will be on the manufacturer's video, but when you put these corners down, you always do this first. You bring this inner piece and flap it over so it doubles up the thickness right here. And there's also a snap in here that you can snap it to. But make sure you do that for all four corners. That's important. Right now, if you can see, this is a tension line. That tension line basically tells us that it's the right height so that the screen door fits in properly. So when this is good and tight, you know the screen door will fit. Now, if you ever pull this loose, which people generally do eventually, it'll generally pull loose up here. If it does, you're just going to re-screw it in a 1/4 inch to the left or the right of the original hole. So just screw it right back in if you need to. Okay, so you've got a deep cycle marine battery, you have a 20-pound LP tank, and then you have your power winch here. So it's very simple, just up and down. Now, whoever is operating this is in charge of making sure that the latches are unlatched. So when this is all latched up here to the top, you know, you don't want to turn on the motor because it will damage it. So you always want to make sure, if you're the one using the lift there, that you want to make sure all four corners are freed up. Okay, I went a long way to say that, but whoever operates it is responsible for unlocking the corners. You can't just listen to somebody, because sometimes they won't be completely unlocked, so you have to see it for yourself. Okay, all right, so this is your power cord. It's 30 amp 30-foot cord right here. It's got an LED to show that it's got power to it. Now this is to power the air conditioner, so it's best to plug this in when the roof is down. But you can, if you have to, you can stand on a ladder, obviously. But this cord will push right into this port right there, and so keep that in mind. Without that being attached, you can't power your AC up. Now, the most common way to get water to the trailer is this city water hookup. 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to be using. Now, if you happen to camp someplace that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill the fresh water tank right here. You pre-fill that, and then you turn on your water pump, and it'll pump water from the tank. Everything will work as though you have city water, just be pumping it from the tank. Okay. If you have city water, you do not have to worry about the water pump or the fresh water tank. Now this is just the drain for the sink. This is a regular garden hose fitting, so you can make up a hose that'll reach to a bucket or a sewer or whatever you're going to do with it. But that's where the sink drains out. It's got LED lights all the way around, inside and out. Now, let me get a better spot here so I can show you. They say every 90 days, but you figure, 3 times a summer, whatever, you're going to inspect the seals on this trailer. So the corner caps, for example, you'll inspect them all the way around every place you see caulk from the factory. Sometime you're going to see separation. When you do, you take care of it immediately. I use something called Clear ProFlex on this one here. So don't use caulk from the hardware store. You got to use the proper stuff. You're also going to check this seam here, and then of course down along here. Any place you see caulk from the factory, you're going to look at it. It'll take you 20 minutes, but it's well worth it, because if you keep after the seals, in 20 years this thing could potentially still be dry inside. I see them both ways. But the bottom line, part of your maintenance is to check the seals and make sure they're good and tight. Okay. If you ever have to put it away wet from the morning dew or rain, make sure you open it up as soon as you can when you get home or wherever you're going with it. Open it up, open the window so the wind whistles through the thing, and just let it dry out. Give it a whole day or whatever needs to dry it out. Now, if you're not going to be camping with it, let's say you're skipping a summer of camping, you still want to open this up and let the wind whistle through it. Maybe 2 times throughout the summer if you can. That's the best way to do it. It likes to be set up, and it dries out really well. But if you keep it full up like that, and there's some moisture in there, it's a problem. So make sure you air it out on a regular basis. Like I said, 90 days is a good rule of thumb. Okay. Okay. So let me see here. Let's move this way. Okay. So we're going to go inside now. You can see the door's already in place, obviously. This will all be on the setup video for the manufacturer, this stuff here. So, all right, so let me see here. When we get down here, obviously your light switch is there. This is your solar controller. You do have a solar panel on this. So right now, let me look to make sure everything's set up correctly. Okay, so right now you got 14.4 volts in the battery, which is perfect. Right now you're gaining 2.0 amps from the sun. You can see right there, you can see the electricity kind of flowing that way in that graphic there. So right now we're gaining 2 amps that's being put into the battery for storage from the sun. That'll change throughout the day depending on the time of year, the angle of the sun, the time of day, all that. Those are all variables, so keep that in mind. Now, you got 0.4 amp hours, and then back to 14.4 volts. So you can see how many amp hours you got, what the actual voltages in your battery, and what you're gaining from the sun. You can go up to 7 plus amps, for example, or it can go down to 4.3 or whatever. It just depends on the angle of the sun and what time of day it is, that sort of thing. Okay. All right. So this is a GFCI right here. If you can see, we're by the bench here. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through this GFCI, even the one on the outside. So keep that in mind. This is your water pump switch here. Right, so when you put water in the tank is the water tank is under here. You need a driver with a number 2 square-headed bit to remove the screws in this trailer. So you'll see it there. The drain, you can drain it from under there. You can You can check and see how much you've got, water you've got in there, all that sort of thing, right from there. So this is the switch for the water pump. The water pump is used to pump water out of the fresh water tank when you don't have city water. Okay, it's also used to winterize the trailer. But you'll have to learn a bit about that because it's not something we're going to go into, but it has to be winterized, obviously. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If it's not green, get it serviced immediately. It detects carbon monoxide buildup, LP gas, and it's also a low battery alarm. So here we go. LP is good, carbon monoxide coming up. Carbon monoxide and low battery alert. Back to green. It should always be green. So the low battery alert is the same tone. It's just a slower beep. So keep that in mind. All right. So I'm just going to set this back for a minute so you can see here. All right. Let me pick it back up. Like I showed you, this is where the rail that your cooktop is attached to. Now this device right here is your power converter. So basically it converts AC to DC power. So you got your regular current, household current coming in here, campground current, and you have the 2 circuit breakers here. Then the power is converted to 12 volt D. That's 120 AC. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC on this side. So you see you got the 12 volt fuses and they're labeled. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is where the AC power is converted to DC power. This is also a battery tender, so it'll always sense how much energy your battery has and needs, the one up front, and it'll keep it charged up. So as long as you're plugged in, it's going to be charging your battery. When you're pulling this down the road, the charge line on your tow vehicle is going to be charged. So the power comes from your alternator on your tow vehicle, and it goes right to the battery and charges it up. So when you're plugged in, this charges the battery, and when you're towing your tow vehicle's alternator, charge it. Okay. I know I'm a little slow here today. I don't know. I can't get my normal thing going here. So, okay. You'll see this again on the videos also, the manufacturer video, but this flips right over. The thing to know is, let me get my camera around here, these 2 buttons here, this one here and that one way over there, those are kill switches. So when this is in the upright position, it depresses those buttons and the lights will go on, like that. The reason that happens is because when this is stowed and you're in the stowed position, it'll disconnect the power, so there's no power to your trailer in here, so you can't accidentally run things while you're pulling it down the road, that sort of thing. Okay. All right. When it comes to your faucets, this is for city water here, and the drawing from your tank, you use this one here. So this is your furnace, and this is your thermostat here. When you're not, when you're shutting it off, let me turn it on. It's on right now. When you shut it off, you go all the way back this way, and then you want it to click like this. If you can see that, you want it to click like that. As soon as I did that, the flame will go out, but it'll still go through its cycle through its normal cycle. So it could take another minute or 2 to before it stops working. So, but the flame goes out immediately. Alrighty. 12 volt DC refrigerator, which is great. Let me look around a bit here. Now these poles are really tough to get in when this is a new trailer, so keep in mind it's going to loosen up. But some people really have trouble with it when you first get them, but it'll eventually stretch and conform properly, so it'll be a really, really good fit. All right. Okay, another thing is you have, let's look down here. You have warmers for the 2 mattresses. So you can see this is just an analog thermostat here. This plugs into the mattress itself, and then this one goes to the nearest 110 AC, and then you got a little analog thermostat on there. This doesn't heat the mattresses, it just takes the chill out of them. So you can see that's where you hook to the mattress, and then the next one would go to the nearest 110 plug. Okay. Alrighty. What else have I got here? These are just some curtain ties. Your keys are in here, right here. These are just caps for your lug nuts. I torqued the lug nuts. They were torqued at the factory. You're going to want to do it after 100 miles or so. So I generally don't put those on until after you give it a final torque. 2 10 stakes for the awning. Now in the awning, all the poles, everything except those 2 stakes is stored in the awning rafter. The awning rafter runs the width of the awning, and that's all the way out at the end. Everything folds into that, so keep that in mind. This is to stake the 2 poles to the ground if you choose to. Okay. Alrighty. You have a crank here, I'm sure. Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a 3/4 inch crank for the stabilizer jacks. You can also use a 3/4 inch 6-point socket with a drill to do it that way too. Just don't over retract them or overextend them. That's the thing. You're not lifting the trailer with these jacks. You're just sort of taking the wiggle out of it. Okay. Air conditioner works like a window air conditioner. You have your temperature here, and then you have your 2 fan speeds. The fan speed is just the air conditioner running without the compressor, just circulates air, and then the 2 cool, low and high, which is full air conditioning. All right. Of course, you have your battery here. Let me pull this out right now. There we go. So that's good. Alright, so each one of these lights also has a button on it, so you can shut them off independently too, even though there's a switch here. I think I pretty much covered everything. This is a spatula, obviously, and this cord, or this bag, is for your power cord if you want to store it in the bag. This has all your literature in it right here for your all of various appliances and components to the trailer. Okay. Alright, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the seals every 90 days. It just takes a minute. If you do see an issue happening, you could look for years without having to touch anything up. Then again, you could have to touch something out of a year from now. You just don't know because it flexes down the road. So that's why you're inspecting it. And as soon as you see an issue, you go to the RV store, get clear ProFlex, and it comes in a caulk tube for about 10 bucks or so. And you just clean off the area and just go right over it and smooth it with your finger. So that's important. Okay? That's not important for this trailer. It's every trailer ever made. They're all the same in that sense. So remember to do that. And also right now this has been de-winterized. It's in camping mode, so there's no antifreeze in the system at all. It's just water, so it's ready to be camped in. Okay? Thank you.